Hi everyone, welcome into Primetime TV Show. I'm one of your hosts, Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my partner, Dennis Kelly. Welcome back again.
Good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Yeah, it seems like a long time.
Well, you know, last week we had our special edition segment with all the women and the Women Unscripted. It was a fun show, but we did miss you.
Well, I missed you all. I missed the fun.
You did miss the fun. But you know, we're going to be talking about something today that we're very, very passionate about. It's not the first time that we've actually talked about living a heart-centered life. We've done some of these shows in the past, and we just want to keep dripping information on each and every one of you so that you can take away some really good information that can help change your lives. I said to my husband earlier before the show, I said, let's talk about that heart-centeredness again. What is it that is happening in the world today? What is going on out there that is making people so frustrated, so angry, so lashing out at others, just overall mad, and just not really being able to handle those frustrations?
A lot of factors enter into that. One of the big factors is that we have, over the period of the centuries, progressed mentally a lot more than we have emotionally. We're not used to this many concept changes. In a matter of 60 seconds, the average person has 10, 15, 20 concept changes, different things they're thinking about. As a result, we're not genetically wired to handle this type of frustration, because unless you learn to rewire your system, which can be done, it's almost impossible to live a healthy, natural life with all these different concept changes coming. Modern civilization. A book was written quite a way back called Future Shock. They predicted this was going to happen.
Really?
Yeah.
So you say 15 to 20 concept changes in 60 seconds?
In 60 seconds, we have 15 to 20 different concept changes. Now you can imagine the Paleolithic ancestors, the cavemen, that when they were going out hunting, there was not many concept changes. You go hunt, you kill, you eat, go to bed, proliferate, and then you go the next day. There may be 2 or 3 concept changes.
Wow, no wonder everybody's so stressed out.
Yeah, they can't handle it.
Because if you can have one concept change, then another, maybe think about the first concept change, then the second. So in other words, all these concept changes that are going on in the brain and the heart and the gut and all that, and they're not communicating with one another, I would guess that would really create a high degree of stress.
Absolutely, and it's like acid dripping in the nervous system, and it's a drip by drip every day. Normal stress, on the system isn't bad. The acute stress, that's the normal stress we face, and then there's a thing called eustress, the stress of competing, the thrill of winning. Those are good stresses, but when we get to chronic stress, that's the buildup of stress that we haven't handled. For example, one of the best sayings as far as relating to stress that I've heard came from Heart Math Institute is stress is simply when our perception of life's events do not meet up with our expectations, and we're not able to manage the results. In other words, when our perceptions of life changes do not meet up with our expectations, we fail to actually handle the results. That's when the stress begins. But if we realize that all stress really comes from the inside, it's your respond to the stimuli on the outside. So I have 2 rules, and I live by these. I live by them religiously. I need to.
You do.
Rule number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Rule number 2, everything is small stuff. We're here today, gone tomorrow. We become ashes, and our spirit goes on to the next thing, if that's what you believe. If not, well, so be it. But the thing is, we are not able to handle it unless we actually have some training on how to do it. We're not born with a manual on how to handle stress.
I've often said that, and that's why we are so passionate about Heart Math Institute. You can actually Google Heart Math Institute, or you can actually come to some of our seminars or our workshops where we do give a lot of that training. My husband had gone to the mountains, not once, but twice.
A week each time to be certified at level 1, and then an advanced level of coaching with Heart Math.
Well, the one thing that, and I don't think we can ever say this too much, is that whole thing about one thought that can create, or 5 minutes, if you don't go past the 5 minutes, and still 5 minutes of an angry thought, something negative, maybe you're mad at somebody and you hold this grudge for a real length of time, tell our viewers exactly what happens to our bodies at 5 minutes, just 5 minutes.
When I heard this years ago, I said to myself, oh my gosh, that's incredible. The research that has gone into proving this, that one angry thought held for 5 minutes or more will lower the immune system, can lower the immune system for 6 to 8 hours. Your IgA level, which is your first line of immune defense, is lowered. That's why people that are angry, people that don't handle stress, which is 77% of the population, actually get sick all the time. Cancer loves stress. Heart disease loves stress. You know what I mean? Metaphorically speaking. So the key is handling, once you learn how to handle stress, become the stress master rather than a slave to stress.
You know, that is so true. And I think I don't know, for me, I feel like it's easier to actually live more from a love-centered, heart-centered lifestyle as opposed to the stress. I mean, stress can come easy. I mean, you can bounce off the wall when somebody cuts you off or somebody's in your face or whatever. But to live a heart-centered life with love, it to me, it comes just so much easier. Why is that?
Well, part of it's difficult to get to that point. Part of it is because it's easier to be negative than to be positive. It's a lot easier. If you figure take the line for negative is one line, positive is 2 lines.
Oh, I never looked at it that way.
So it takes double the amount of effort to be positive as it does to be negative.
I see.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you some exercises in a little bit on what we've done, and some of you have probably heard them before, but I don't think we can ever share it enough because, you know, it's running rampant around the world, what's going on. And we often say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And that's one reason why we're so blessed to be able to share this across the airwaves. And we're going to be opening up into even more homes right here in the heart of Newport Richey at Tampa Bay Multimedia. We're very excited about that. We're going to be doing a workshop on October 25th down in Tarpon Springs, and you can check out the website at www.dennis-kelly.com, and you can always go there to see what is up and coming, and you can also see our show that we have posted there. You haven't had a chance to go to the website and see that.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
You've been holding back on me.
The last show that we did, we actually posted it up on my husband's website, and then on barbaramarvel.com. We posted that Crazy Woman's show, so you can also see that. We're doing a lot here at the studio, but one of the things that I love most, there you go. See the website with the, that's my Women Unscripted hour.
Wow.
You haven't even seen that.
Pretty impressive.
That was fun. We had, you know what, we're going to talk about the chemicals, the bad chemicals we just talked about, but we're also going to talk about good chemicals. But when I think about that Women's Unscripted show, I think all we did was put nothing but good chemicals in the body because of the laughter. We laughed nonstop the whole hour. What do you think? What's your take on that? Laughter, the heart, feeling good?
It goes into everything that we think, say, and do is a chemical or an electrical change. Every second we make a decision, 1,400 different chemical changes go on in the body. Every second that goes on. So if you're thinking negative things, you're thinking worry, you're jealous, or all those negative emotions, those are really 2 emotions. Everything fits into them, the emotion of love and the emotion of fear. So everything you think of fear, then chemicals are going in the body to precipitate fear. If you're thinking love, and thinking harmony and appreciation, gratitude, things like that, then good hormones and chemicals are going on in the body. It's a matter of drinking from poise or drinking from poison. You know, if you have 2 cups, which one would you drink from? Most people drinking out of the poison because it's easier.
So it is easier.
And the emotions they're like a junkie. Our emotions, our emotional part of us wants to be fed. And it's easier to be fed negative emotions. Because you ever notice when people are gossiping on the phone, did you hear about Sally and Jim? Oh my gosh. They get off on that. And you don't hardly ever hear them say, oh, you should see what a nice job Jim painting his house or doing this, and it's so nice how Sally is getting along with Jim. That's very rare. I mean, just using that just as an example.
We have a lot of conversation like that because that's how we live our life.
Yeah.
I mean, you will very rarely hear us on the phone, you know, with the gossip and the, did you hear this, did you hear that, you know, because it just, It doesn't serve a purpose. And when don't get us wrong. Don't think for 1 minute that we don't have challenges in our life or have had in the past. But the one thing that makes a big difference is not dwelling on that challenge and looking for the solutions to a challenge.
Well, you hit it right on the head. You used the magic word, because most people consider those things problems.
Right.
But if you look at just changing a word, the vocabulary, to challenge, that changes the whole thing. Just like when I wake up in the morning, I think, what challenges am I going to be faced with today? What exciting challenges? Rather than, oh my gosh, what problems am I going to face today?
I know.
Just change that conversation. Interesting book written by Shad Helmstetter. What can I say, or what should I say when I talk to myself? He talks about us. We talk to ourselves in words, about 65,000 words a day. And we talk out loud, verbally, from 15 to 20,000 words a day. It's that conversation that makes up who we are and what we are.
Words are very powerful, and it seems like you give birth to these words, and then you start living these words. So it's a matter of being really accountable for the words that are coming out of our mouths, and really thinking before we speak, especially when we're around others, because you just, I don't know, you just want to exude a better feeling towards others, because that's the only way we're going to change the world, one person at a time, is showing respect and being kind. Well,
that's so true, hon, because if you one of the things that was taught to me years ago, how does that person that was just talking with you and in conversation with you or whatever feel about themselves when they walk away from you? Do they feel better about themselves, or do they feel worse about themselves?
That's a very good point.
You want to make a friend, you want to really communicate with people, help people feel better about themselves. If they're down and out, help them feel better. Let them know what this phenomenal potential we have as human beings. And the big problem is most people get into sympathy. Sympathy is where you feel the other person's feelings when they're down. That doesn't do anything but mirror the problem. What you want is empathy. That's where you understand what they're feeling, but you don't get involved in feeling what they're feeling. You can't do any good with a person with sympathy. It's that empathy that's so important.
Don't you think, or I should say, do you think when you're handling a response, a negative response from someone else, thinking, I guess many people will say, oh, count to 10 before you just do whatever or whatever, or often do a little bit of deep breathing. But when you handle it with empathy as opposed to sympathy, do you find that your response is a better response rather than a reaction in coming back in a combative way?
Oh, absolutely. You have to sort of push a pause button, like on your VCR, and others go into pause, and then you have to recognize the fact that you have a stressful situation. So you recognize a stressful situation, then you go to pause, then you go to your heart. And that's where the whole change comes in. That's where the whole system of handling stress, the key, the secret is in the heart. Because HeartMath Institute, years ago, their scientists discovered inside the heart is a brain. The same type of crystallized cells in the brain are in the heart. The heart is 5,000 times more frequent, has 5,000 times higher frequency level than the brain. It's 60 times more bioelectricity than the brain. And it has so many, they can measure the electrical energy from the heart up to 12 feet away. You can't the brain. So if people realize when you go to the heart can then take and give you all those good hormones you want. And how you do that is basically once you recognize you have a stressful situation, then what you simply do is go to the heart, go back in time to a caring, in other words, go back in time to a situation in your life that was very positive. When you think about it, when you feel it, what you felt back then the heart produces great hormones. It gets you from that negative into the positive. It produces serotonin, oxypeptides, and it also atrial peptide. These are hormones that actually facilitate feeling good and feeling, being able to give some constructive criticism or critique rather than an emotional reaction.
Right, and that really does take practice. We're going to take a brief little time out. When we come back, we're going to talk more about living a heart-centered life. It can make a big difference in you and others around you, so stay with us.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me. My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Walk through life. Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let's take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? Cause every day is a new day. And everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, cause it keeps getting better. Whoa,
Hi everyone, welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm one of your hosts, Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is my husband, best friend, and just about everything else, including my Heart Math Institute life coach, Dennis Kelly. I love doing these shows with you. It's like doing just a national broadcast on your seminars, little tidbits, little excerpts from your book, and all of your training. And I know that you know that we know how important it is to make a difference in one person's life, and you may be that one person. Just before we took the break, we were talking about all the different things that affect our bodies psychologically, mentally, emotionally, physiologically when we are stressed out. Now, I've heard you say many times that if you go past 5 minutes of an angry thought or some negative thing that's just eating at you. Somebody owes you $100 and they haven't paid you back. Whatever it is, you are getting the same reaction as if you're being chased by a lion? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, you would be better off being chased by a lion in some ways than you would be by, in other words, you'd be better off by being chased by a lion than you would by being late for work, even in a sense.
Really?
Because if you're chased by the lion, you get away. Obviously,
Or you don't.
the hormones go back to normal. But if you're late for work, then one thing leads to another. The day is shot. You still hold that memory of being late and being chewed out or whatever comes from being late, you know, work not done, appointment not made. And that can be more stressful than the lion chasing you, because when you get away, there's a positive feeling. Just like when I was surf casting at Fort Myers Beach and I was chased by 2 sharks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about somebody who could walk on water. I ran backwards on top of water, and literally speaking. So, and there I thought to myself, I was in a state of fright and a state of stress like I've never experienced in my life. And the fact, then after it made me realize I made it to shore, I felt so good. It was so exciting because all the good chemicals were coming in my body.
Boy, that was a switch, huh?
Yeah.
You didn't know
yeah.
if you were going to make it.
Well, yeah. But I looked around and saw how far I had to go back, and I poked at it with my rod, and I was surf fishing the water up to my waist. And they must have caught the stringer of fish that I had tied to my waist, and they were coming right at me. And I want to tell you, that was an experience I'll never forget. And it taught me how important it is to realize that why do we have to be chased by sharks? In other words, to really appreciate who we are and what we are, you know, to survive that. So as a result, I did a lot of research on that. And what happens is when you're stressed out, you release a hormone called interleukin-2. If you're on top of Space Mountain, I'm sorry, I got the opposite. When you're feeling good, you release a hormone called interleukin-2. When you are really stressed out and wigged out and really scared or nervous or whatever, you release a hormone called interleukin-6, which is a destructive hormone. It's a fight or flight hormone hooked with adrenaline and cortisol and all those. There's a whole group called glucocorticoids, and then there's a group of good hormones called catecholamines. So you want to get into the catecholamines. Give you an example. If we're on top of Space Mountain, which I wouldn't want to be because I hate roller coasters. If we're on top of Space Mountain and the person sitting next to me, say you really loved it. You wanted to go on these rides time and time again, and I was scared and hated it. I'd be producing interleukin-6, which is very destructive. You'd be producing interleukin-2. Now, interleukin-2 is nature's greatest anti-cancer hormone. It cost almost $40,000 to produce a drop of it in the laboratory, and it is one of the best stress-reducing hormones there is. So you could get a good shot of interleukin-2 for free. I would get the interleukin-6. Who's better off?
I would think I would be.
Yeah, well, that can be related in life.
Yes, yes.
In life.
It's all, wouldn't you say that has a lot to do with perception, too?
Yes, everything is perception.
Mm-hmm. I mean, one person can perceive one comment this way, and another one can perceive it this way, and they can be very conflicting to one another.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a whole series of things that happen when you get stressed out, the kind of stress we're talking about, chronic stress. Mm-hmm. For example, the minute you are in a stressful situation, your hippocampus releases a thing called corticotropin releasing factor, CTR. Then that goes to the brain, and then the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, what we'll do then, send a thing called corticotropin down to the kidneys, and on top of the kidneys are the adrenal glands that are already producing cortisol. So you got all these hormones going into the body, circulating in the body. And that's why over a period of 5 minutes, they all start doing their magic work, which can be magic in getting away from the tiger or climbing a tree, but it's not magic when that stress, you keep ruminating over it.
Right.
Then what happens, eventually, the hippocampus then sends a message for the hypothalamus to stop releasing these chemicals. Well, what happens is when you get really stressed out, the hippocampus can no longer send a message anymore to the hypothalamus. As a result, it keeps producing these hormones. Then when you run out of them, that's even worse, because you have no energy. The day's shot, you're more susceptible to disease. So, I mean, that's why just knowing this, when I found out all this information through heart math and through my studies, I said to myself, why would anybody not want to control stress? Because once you learn to control stress, the perception of things, now they're looking at everything as an opportunity rather than a setback.
That's a very, very good point. You just gave me some thoughts that were triggered here, and we're almost ready to take a break again.
Time goes by fast when you're having fun.
I know it does, especially when we're sharing things that we live in our own lifestyle. One of the things that I was thinking, excuse me, and when we come back from the break, we'll talk about it, and how men and women handle things differently and why. And we're going to be talking a book out there that will help every single viewer. I can promise you that. It's not one of our books, but we recommend it. But before we do that, I'm going to give you a little chuckle, and you've probably heard me say this before, is when, and we do have, you know, things will happen in life or whatever, and I handle it a little bit differently and ruminate a little bit longer. It might have something to do because I'm a female. But all my husband has to do, and he is calm and cool as a cucumber 100% of the time. I kid you not. He never has his feathers ruffled. I guess that's why he's a Grandmaster. All he has to do is just give me a dad look. When I get the dad look, I know I'm not, it's just a look I couldn't even duplicate, but you know, I know what I'm getting at, okay? So that's all he has to do is he gives me the dad look, and I go, okay, I'm either overthinking something or I'm letting it get to me emotionally, and it is because I'm female and the whole emotional thing. Ladies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Guys, you might. If not, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about that whole Mars-Venus effect because there's really, really something to it. So stay with us. We'll be right back. The rest is all the good news. We just shared some of the challenging news. Stay with us.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Walk through life. Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way?
everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV show. We are spending our prime time with you as you are with us. And I am your host, Barbara Marvell Kelly. With me is my husband, Dennis Kelly, and we are really getting into the nitty-gritty of what happens when we allow ourselves to get stressed out. And sometimes it can't be helped, but you know what? We do have a few answers where we can help ourselves with all the craziness that's going on in the world, right? Relationships, financial issues, world issues, politics, government, the list goes on. Turn on the news, read the newspaper. It's everywhere. So we live our lives trying to do our part and sharing what helps us, what works when we do have some challenges in life. And it does work. It truly does. And there's a whole science behind it. With Heart Math Institute, you can go ahead and do a search on Heart Math Institute. You'll get a lot of really great tips there as well. You can also come to our seminars or our workshops. We have one coming up on October 25th. You can go to dennis-kelly.com and you can see our list of events, our TV shows. In fact, one of the last ones we did is right on the front page there. We air right out of Tampa Bay Multimedia. We're really glad to have you with us. So right before the break, we were talking about the science. I mean, you can rattle off the different parts of the brain, what happens to us when we get really, really stressed out. But we also were talking about the difference between a man and a woman, and I call it Mars, Venus, right? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and I really think there's a lot of truth to this. Have you read the book? Just get the book, put it on your Kindle, because I still haven't finished that. And both of us read a few chapters out of it, and we really kind of agreed, you know what? If every couple would read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, it would explain why we're different, why women are so emotional, what it is about our brain and the different... During the break, my husband was, explaining this to me, so I'm going to turn you over to our viewers and explain, what is it? Why is it that women become more emotional, we ruminate, we gunny sack, where men they can be done with it, and everything's just fine?
Well, it basically dates back to our caveman days, basically, when the women had to be the protector of the cave, the surroundings, and protect the child, the baby, the children, and the men had to go out and hunt. And their whole function was to kill so they could eat, and that was the way they were engineered. So as time goes on by, women stayed more emotional, and men are like the warrior type, not the warrior type. Because the women were left in the cave to worry about what was going on when the men went out. They didn't know if the men would ever come back or not. So they did the worrying for the men. The men would go out and they had to be focused on the kill to get the game, or they were fighting another tribe and things like that. So that stayed with us all these centuries. So women are basically wired a little bit differently than men. Mm-hmm. And that's why men need to understand that. For example, if a man has stressful things going on, they hold it inside because it's not normal for them to release it, because they're the warriors, they need to be strong. And in modern society, that can have its downfall. Mm-hmm. And then women, what they want is when there's a situation, a challenge, they want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. They want to get into
a lot.
Yes.
Over and over.
Yes, and where the men, they want to go to their cave, we call it the cave, their place where they can think and reason these things out and make a decision on what to do about the challenge. Well, women, they want to discuss it, and they want to talk it over. And the problem with women, too, is they tend to ruminate things. The gunny sack, they call it, carry that over and over. Where men, it's there and it's gone, and they want to go to the next challenge. Mm-hmm. It's their conquering ability. When women aren't out conquering, they're trying to reason with this situation, the challenge or problem, whatever they have.
Well, they're trying to, I think, feel good about it, find some means of feeling good about it. And when it's not feeling good, it's hard to find that feeling good. Does that make any sense at all?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, what happens is women, when they start spilling it off on the man, and he starts giving them constructive criticism, the women don't want to be criticized. They don't even want to know, they don't even want you to answer and try to solve the problem. Just want to get it out. And when the men start coming up with a solution, they don't want that. They really, in some cases, I mean, there's not a perfect world in what I'm saying. In some cases, that's not true. But in most cases, they just want to spill it off. They want to get it out of their system. And where the men want to take and correct the challenge, and that's not what...
But they have to go into their man cave. They can't do it
That's right.
now. Now, does that have something to do with the variables of the heart coherence at that given moment? At that given moment of stress, it's probably not a good thing to really get into conversation until you have had a chance to, like, count to 10 or go to your heart, right?
Right, well...
Breathe, do some deep breathing.
The big thing is, ask yourself, how do you communicate when you're stressed out? And chances are you're not communicating really good. The key is when you go to communicate, get in the same vibratory level. In other words, never try to discuss a challenge when you're in a state of negative emotion, because it's going to end up into a firefight, so to speak. In other words, for example, give you a little example of that. If a couple are walking in a park, all right, and they just had a bad argument, or an argument, a disagreement, and it starts raining, that even makes the matter worse. But if they're walking, in other words, there's not going to be anything good about the rain. Let's get the heck out of here. You know, I don't want to get wet. But if they are in a caring, loving mood and they're walking through the forest or through the park and they're holding hands and it starts raining, it's a neat thing.
I can hear myself if that happened. Let's dance and sing in the rain, right?
Yeah, that sort of thing. I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. So, and it goes to show, psychiatrists has proven that if you go to a neighborhood that you used to live in years ago, go to that neighborhood. If you're going to that neighborhood and you're in a negative mood, all the negative emotions that came from that neighborhood where you used to live are going to come out, or many of them are going to come out. If you go into that place where you used to live, that neighborhood, and you're going in feeling good, you're in a good mood that day, then all the good feelings are going to come out.
Now, what accounts for that?
Well, you have to go to somebody in a higher pay grade.
I was going to say, or is that higher than your pay grade?
That gets into another whole realm close to what we call quantum physics.
Okay.
So, but I can simplify that if you would like me to.
I need it simplified.
Okay. It goes back to your conversation that you're having internally.
Okay. So you can set yourself up.
Yeah.
It depends on where your mind... Well, it's like the law of attraction. And if you're in that low vibratory level, it seems like you attract that. So
you
if
attract everything from that vibratory level, or most everything from that vibratory level. Dennis Waitley, years ago, a very famous author and worked with Olympic athletes, got a great deal of respect for him, said that when you set a goal and when you're thinking real positive and towards something that you really want, and you're feeling from the heart, that 18 to 20 brain cells are instantly created. And those brain cells has one purpose. They vibrate at a normal rate. The one purpose is to achieve and accomplish that objective or that goal. So we can actually, and of course, those cells in the brain do not vibrate at an abnormal rate and do those 18 to 20 billion cells unless there's passion from the heart. So everything comes around the heart. So passion from the heart, setting a goal, I do a lot of work with corporations on goal setting and individuals on goal setting. To set a goal, you must have a clear picture of what you want, and you must have a passion for that goal, and you must have that passion periodically throughout the day, maintaining that passion for that goal every time you think of the goal. And just like you already made the goal. I don't mean to get off the track on the goal setting, but it all comes down to passion. Well, where does passion come from? The heart, not the head.
Absolutely. And well, when you talk about that passion, that can be applicable to whether it's personal relationships, business relationships, just your own personal relationship with yourself too. Because I know when I feel passionate about something, and you've known me well enough now, almost 20 years, I just go with the gusto. There's no stopping me. And do you ever feel like that, where you just have this unwavering passion that is just the driving force, and you just automatically, everything falls right into place?
Right.
It does.
Absolutely. No, it's in some sense, it's a lot simpler than people give it credit. In other words, you can get into all the psychological things and the terminology, but it comes right down to is learning to go to the heart.
Yes.
Because then when you are in a stressful situation, you're not reacting, you're responding. You're responding intellectually by asking information and going to your heart and saying, heart, give me some type of intuitive thinking that I can go into that can create a situation where I can get rid of this stressful situation.
Exactly. And you know, that does take practice, because I think as human beings, we weren't really born with a manual. So I think it's human nature for us to react immediately as opposed to respond, although we've gotten pretty good at it. You're 100%. I'm about 99. I still have that little piece to work on, but then again, I'm a female, I'm emotional, and that I haven't figured out quite how to adjust all those.
I'm glad you're the female and I'm the male, believe me.
But we're going to be taking a brief little time out here. When we come back, we're going to show you exactly what you can do, and this will take practice, but once you start doing it, you'll notice a change. Take time. It'll take a little time, but over time, you'll notice that you will be making better decisions. And you'll find, like I did, when you get out of the head and you make those decisions from the heart and you have that unwavering passion, your life can change forever, can't it?
Absolutely.
So we're going to be right back after these messages. Get ready to take some notes. It's going to be really exciting, because I always love to talk about our Heart Math Institute and what it's done for our lives. And that's what our mission is and our purpose. And we'll tell you about our workshop coming up later on this month and more right here on Primetime.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now. I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Walk through life. Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day and the world is waiting. Move along to the song, singing in your soul. Feel the beat, clap your hands, let it take control. All you need, all you want, are you ready to find your way? 'Cause every day is a new day. And everything's going your way. And you wanna make it last forever. We'll keep it together, 'cause it keeps
here we are again, already in the final portion of our show. Can you believe it?
It's a fast hour, fastest hour in my life.
I know, it's always when we're having fun. So welcome back into Prime Time. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is my husband and life coach forever. He truly is. I've learned so much from him. Learning how to deal with stress, just learning how to live life with so much more passion, love, and happiness. And sometimes it isn't that easy, but you know what? If you know the tricks of the trade, if you have a little something in your hip pocket, you can pull that out at any time, anywhere. And we promise you, if you do these exercises, it will work for you. So we've been giving you all the downside of stress and what happens to the body, what happens to the amygdala, what happens to the hippocampus, and the difference between men and women. We're wired totally differently. And that's why, women have one response, men have another. They go to their man cave, and women just keep ruminating and gunny sacking, and we won't give it up, right?
Absolutely.
That whole saying, let it go, there's a lot of truth to that. So we're going to show you how you can let it go. I did have one question for you, though, because I've never asked this. When I was saying earlier on, I always know when I'm overthinking something or I need to have a better response, is I get the dad look from my husband. I want to know, in front of America, what are you exactly thinking when you give me that dad look? I want to know what goes through your mind. I didn't know I was going to ask him this, but it came to me. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that you need to listen to me.
Oh, I need to listen to you. Okay, go ahead.
And whatever advice I give you.
That was an organic response.
But I know better than to say, listen to me.
See? Now that right
if
there.
If I look at you with a dad's look, then you're going to give me a type of response.
Right.
And I can tell by the response what I need to do next.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't.
That was a well thought out planned
inside information. So, okay. So
it makes you feel a little uncomfortable, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. Not at all. That's all you have to do is you give me the dad look. I don't know what you're thinking, other than I know it's a dad look. It's like I already know that I'm overthinking it, or I'm already knowing that I don't need to be spending all this valuable lifetime on this. So I just go to my heart and I go, okay, let it go. Clean it up, Barbara. Do your thing. But I always wondered what was going through your mind.
Well, it's not so much what I'm thinking. It's that I know that when I give you the dad look, I'm going to get some results.
Yeah.
Then you're going to then rethink about what you're doing.
So it's the power of persuasion of the dad look.
Yeah, it's
would
body language.
Is that what it? Oh, trust me.
Just like when I used to teach dancing years ago, when my student would do something wrong, I'd just look at her and give her that dad
That's
look.
it.
And that was much better than being criticized.
Yeah.
Because people don't like to be criticized anymore.
No, there's
or
not.
Never, really, basically.
No,
but more so now than ever because people are on the edge.
Exactly.
So when you criticize somebody on the edge, then that really doesn't help.
And if they're already feeling bad, and then it's just like adding salt to the wound.
Absolutely.
So when you do, and we kind of make a little personal joke about that, dad look and everything, but it really does work. My dad was not that kind. And so I appreciate that. Rather than say, now, you need to listen to me, that would be almost be condescending. So he just gives me that pleasant little smile and that little dad look. That is the look that you gave your dance students.
Yeah, and that's
when
one
they
of the reasons
misstepped.
my students did well. I never criticized them.
Yeah.
When they would make a mistake, I just look at them and say, what do we need to do now? And that way they were under no stress. They appreciated it, and it was like a little game with us.
Right.
So they would make the correction. So when we get to a dance competition and compete against the other teachers and students, my other instructors said, "How do you win so many contests? How do you get your students to look so good?" I wasn't always the best dancer, but I was the best teacher.
You brought the best out in them.
Because I brought the best out of the students. So I use that same thing with our marriage. Respecting your thoughts and your wishes, and realizing people don't like to be openly criticized. Mm-hmm. Because unless you're perfect, what is it in the Bible? It says, if you're without sin, cast the first stone. Nobody would cast the stone because nobody's without sin. So unless I'm perfect, how can I expect you to be perfect?
Well, the way you handle it is very commendable, and that's my prompt. That's my cue to just go and do my deep breathing, get into my center point, and go to my heart, and I'm going to let my husband share with you, this is our biggest secret of living a successful, happy, loving life. And that is the way you go to your heart and change that heart coherence when you're all stressed out.
Well, it's a step-by-step process, but it's called a 1-minute stress management, basically. And it could be done within a few seconds, within 30, 40 seconds, once you get good at it. And the key is recognizing you have a stressful situation, then you push like a pause button. You go to pause. Then what you want to do is go to a time in your life, have that like on a shelf ready to do that. Like, for example, it might be a time you stepped off of the plane in Hawaii and saw the hula dancers, and maybe that was one of the most exciting times of your life, or your honeymoon, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Or the warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you look at a picture of a loved one. But when you do that, then the heart puts out some great hormones. Also, it gives you some wonderful information that'll solve that stressful situation. So you learn to respond rather than react. Now, how that works and why that works, I can get a little bit technical, but I'll try to keep the technicality out of it too much, is that we have a thing in the brain called the amygdala. The amygdala, if it wasn't for the amygdala, we would never survive the caveman days, the Paleolithic ancestor days, because of the fact that the amygdala was to store all bad memories, was to protect us from wild beasts, and let us know, for example, if a tiger's chasing us or coming towards us, that's a tiger, that's bad. You kill it or it kills you. So the amygdala was there to protect us. But over the centuries, the thousands of years, the amygdala sort of sabotages us now because it stores all the negative things that ever happened, negative thoughts, and it's overprotective. So what you have to do is learn how to bypass the amygdala. That's the key. That's where the HeartMath Institute did all the wonderful research and taught us how to bypass the amygdala. For example, your brain, think of that as being the program. Now remember this, most of the input you get towards your brain comes from other people, and 77% of those are negative. So it's not usually good input. So then the program goes to your belief system. So your belief system is created by your program. So what we believe has a lot to do with the next step, our attitude. And if we believe negative things and our attitude is negative, it's like a downhill spiral. So how do you get around that? Well, first of all, I have to realize the human being has unlimited potential. And we only use about 1/3 of our potential. So next time a program comes that is negative, rather than go to your belief system, rather than go to the attitude, because it could change your attitude because the belief is not good, all right? So what you do is you bypass the belief, you bypass the attitude, and you go right to the heart. So you're bypassing the amygdala, because what happens is the belief is the stored up things that your amygdala have stored up, which are mostly negative.
And you'll have a different response if you don't bypass
Absolutely.
that.
So then when you bypass the belief, then you're not affecting the attitude in a negative way. So what happens when you go to the heart, then the next step is the feelings. The feelings are good. Then from good feelings comes good results. Good action. Good action creates good results. Good results starts programming good things. Then you start changing the belief system, which then changes the attitude, all because you learn to control the amygdala. Takes practice.
Sounds easy, right?
Makes sense. Sure, it's easy. Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. It is.
Absolutely.
Once you
With
get
practice.
It takes practice, and there's something else, that a formula that you came up with that we use, whether it's in personal business, whatever. And there's really a lot of truth to this, and because we have things, we get along like 100% of the time. We really do. Every once in a while there'll be a little something that'll come up. But what is the formula? The most important thing in any relationship is Q plus.
All right, that formula has saved my life in many ways, as far as giving me an opportunity to be very successful in whatever I did. When I was in business, dealing with the businesses I had, I was very successful. Had one of the top producing businesses of its kind. When I got involved in the martial arts, winning 5 world titles, using the same formula.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
it's so simple.
In sports,
but yet,
too.
most people won't use it because it's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
I used it in sports, used it in my personal life. The formula is Q. Is Q. Gee, that felt good. Is Q plus Q times S equals the amount of success. Q plus Q times S, the times factor is the S, equals success. The Q stands for the quality plus the quantity times the spirit and harmony in which that quality and quantity is obtained has a lot to do with the success. The times factor is the spirit and harmony. Whether it be an argument, whether it be a financial decision, it doesn't matter. Or it could be simply relating to athletics. For example, the quality of your practice plus the quantity of your practice times the spirit and harmony in which you practice that sport has a whole lot to do with the success. Business, the quality of your work plus the quantity of your work times the spirit and harmony in which you do that work has so much to do with the success. That is so simple, and yet I can honestly say I've trained hundreds of people on using it, and it's such a small percentage ever think about it again. It's so sad because it's so simple, people don't use it. I patterned my whole life based on quality plus quantity times the spirit and harmony. So the key factor, the times factor, is spirit and harmony.
Absolutely. And I can see how that would affect out on the playing field. I mean, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, with kids sports, with professional sports, ay, ay, ay. I mean, you see all kinds of craziness going on. Can you imagine if well, we know of a team that has pretty good spirit and harmony and quality and quantity of all of that, but it can be applied in sport, in business, in your own personal lives, and it really has enriched our lives to be able to use this 1-minute stress management, and we handle things a whole lot differently now as opposed to when we were kind of before we ever met. So, and that is truly our secret, and we're sharing more in-depth secrets with our Tri-Neurogenic program because we only have a few seconds left. But if you go to dennis-kelly.com, you will always be able to see the different events, and you can even see our TV show right on the front page that we air from Tampa Bay Multimedia Studio in the heart of downtown Newport Richey. So I want to thank you for joining us today, and I want to thank you for your expertise. I have heard this so many times in the last 20 years, and every single time I hear it again, I'm always to glean something a little bit different or going off in a different direction. But the main heart of the matter all remains the same, and it's up to you to make those right choices. We can do this one heart at a time and make a difference. We want to be the change that we want to see in the world and spread more love and happiness and balance and harmony.
Well, spirit and harmony, the harmony doesn't come from the head, it comes from the heart. That's where the heart plays such an important part. When you learn to go to the heart, that makes it easy to harmonize, to do everything with a wonderful thought. Every rainbow, or I should say every cloud, every dark cloud has a silver lining.
Boy, that's
and at
for
every
sure.
rainbow, there's a pot of gold somewhere at the end of that rainbow.
Boy, speaking of rainbows, and I know we got to scoot, but if you go to my Facebook page, Barbara Ann Marville Kelly, you'll see the most beautiful rainbow that my husband and I witnessed on my birthday on Saturday morning. And that rainbow followed me everywhere I went in the subdivision, all the way out into Trinity, and it was like a sign of divinity saying, get your book Chasing Rainbows done. So that's our message, and we hope that you've enjoyed the show today. We'll be back next Monday, but in the meantime, Wednesday I'll be here with My Chamber TV, and we have a great lineup with the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and we're even doing a ribbon cutting here. How fun is that?
How about that?
It's all happening at Tampa Bay Multimedia. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week.